one of my favorite cues for the RDL that I have recently invented now. Well, actually, I'm going to give you two of the ones that I swear by, that my clients now swear by ever since I introduced it to them. They get a lot more glute engagement, a lot more core, a lot more hamstrings, a lot more everything that they want. And more than anything, they're lifting almost double what they were before they learnt the two cues. So the main ones would be making sure that once we have our lats tight, we want to actually pay attention when we're coming down to the bottom of the RDL, the way that we're coming up. The first part of that is to make sure that you have your feet in like a bouncy position, so that it's where you can have peak force. The biggest of all is you should already have this addressed, and that's to kind of like not have your shoes on, not even like flat shoes, because you want to use your big toe and floor it in. Have that big core, and then you're going to come down, and then you're going to think about pressing into those big toes and feeling into the adductors. So we've already got the bouncy feet to make sure you have the right depth thing, and then pressing into the toes, feeling into the adductors, having the lats really tight, and then thinking about pressing through those toes to come up, so that you're not yanking the bar up, or, you know, like this. So think shoulders away from ears and pressing, like you don't want to lift up your torso. You don't want to lift anything at all. You want to like keep everything down and long. You're just thinking press into the floor and claw with this. And this is where my new top tip, fire tip, best visualization came in. Have you ever watched Pingu? Has anyone ever watched Pingu? I used to love Pingu. But Pingu used to do this thing where he used to do this along the floor. Pretty sure that was Pingu. That's what we want to do at the bottom of this. You're thinking, But when everything's nice and tight, you're not going to like sink under yourself. But you want to like tuck your bum under and pull yourself up. It's like scoot, scoot, scoot. Give that a go. Oh, and there was another really good one, because I did tell you I was going to give you a bonus. The lat pullover with the cable. Top-notch exercise, especially if you can't engage your lats and your core, because done right, it fires your lats and it strengthens your core to the next level. Because you don't want to do this, you want to be nice and tight like this. But a lot of people have their hands too narrow, too wide, they don't engage their lats, they just, yeah. This is why knowing what muscles you're working and what actions they do is the key, because your lats do this. So you want to think about pressing on the outsides of your hands, externally rotate, and pull the bar in. But you can do that and be too narrow and too wide and it won't work. So I just discovered the best cue, and I don't want to forget it. So I'm bookmarking it here as the first time you've ever heard it, and it's going to change everything for you. From here, you're going to think of where you feel your lats the most. That's probably where you should also have your hands on the RDL. There's your first hot tip, which now you have two bonus tips. There's the first one. Now for the lat pullover. From here, long, let your hands press down. They won't come straight forward and they won't go out here. I'm not Pingu now, I'm a monkey. So you have a monkey and then you have Pingu. Just think about that. Hi, hussy. But yeah, think about that. And hands there. And then the lat pullover. If you want any more tips like this, I typically would do the videos. I have a lot stacked. I just can't be bothered editing them. I need to do that. I'm more like a podcast thing. Maybe I should do like a whole podcast section of them and then talk through my exercises and give like hot tips there. Why didn't I think of that before? Can someone remind me about that? Just because now I have to get back to chickens. Hussy, send me a message and say, do a podcast while showing your training videos and talking about them, because at least then you'll get up some forward checks. Anyway, hope that helped. Or I'll give you one more, because I want to send this one to my clients as well. The cable lateral raise. the cable makes it so difficult that you probably can't even do the one little plate at the top. Sorry, you have a really close-up of my face. It won't let me put filters on, so you're just going to deal with my face and my lack of sleep for the last 2 days. But with the cable lateral raise, I want you to use ankle cuffs. And if you have it put down too low, it's really difficult to do because of the way that force is. Because anything is most difficult when it's like at 90 degrees. So from here, if the cable's coming from down there and you're in this angle, that's like a 90 degree thing. And then it gets easier as you come up to the top, because then it's like I can't visualize it. A more obtuse or an acute angle, something like that. But it's moving away from the 90 degrees. If you have the cable here, like at knee height, it's about there that it gets the hardest. And I don't care if you're just doing this, as long as you're not doing this weird thing. Now I'm a puppet, that thing. Here, you want to think like everything you do, you should be thinking maximize the tension. So from here, I'm immediately thinking of fighting gravity and then pulling it up and then get the full stretch. Don't let it loosen. If you let it loosen, make sure at least you're still fighting it. That's getting the delt in this lengthened position. And whenever I can't get them up here anymore, I usually just do these until I literally cannot lift it anymore and I start to feel it everywhere but my delts. So give that a go, and I hope that helps. How do I? That thing.